morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're viewing from. I'm Laura Thompson with TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with the global reach. And you're tuned into the coffee break. And guess who I ran into a few minutes ago? A wonderful, wonderful individual, Judge Yolanda Huff. And, we're just going to talk about her term and things that she's doing on the campaign trail. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great, great, great conversation. So how you doing, Judge?
I am doing wonderful. I'm out here running this path for my campaign. I'm up for my third term as judge of County Court 12 in the mental health court. So I'm out here doing my thing, trying to get reelected.
Right. She's coming in hot, y'all. She's coming in hot. So before we get started with the interview, I always ask our guests to give us some brief biographical information about who you are, what you do, why you do it, all that good stuff.
Okay, so good morning, everybody. And Laura, thank you so much for having me today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I am Judge Yolanda Huff. I preside over County Court 12. It is a criminal misdemeanor bench. And I also preside over the mental health court for Barrett County. I am in my third term. I'm getting reelected, third term as judge. I first got elected back in 2018.
Wow.
At that time, when I was running in 2018, there was not one elected black judge in all of Barrett County, and we're talking about a county of 2 million people. So when I won in 2018, not only did I won, but there were 2 other black judges that won, and that was truly a historic thing for Barrett County. And I just don't think enough people know that. They don't know that what was going on in 2018, but it was a great time, and I really appreciate my community coming through for me.
Wow, absolutely. So, I've been watching you on social media and trying to catch up with you. Judge Huff is all over the place. She speaks. She does community engagement. Now she's on a church tour to talk about her campaign. And, it's not only her. She organizes everything and ensures that other candidates get the exposure and that people in our community learn about what they do. So tell us a little bit about your church tour and some of the churches you visited.
Well, so this was an idea I came because I am a judge that believes that judges not only need, it is our duty to get out of that courthouse and into the community. And actually, people don't know this, but it is one of the canons of law that judges, when there are things that we must do, and one of the things that judges must do is educate the community about the judiciary. And I take that very seriously. You see me everywhere, right? So when this campaign season came about, I came up with this idea of why don't I go and visit just 22 churches in all.
Wow.
And it's nonpartisan. Anyone could join us. And it's all set up. I had some volunteers to set up all the visits with me. And so we're now on our 11th visit this Sunday. But what happens is that any candidate, any elected official can come. The pastors know that we're coming. We have a representative at each church, and when we get there at the appropriate time, the pastor will introduce each candidate. They'll stand up, and this is Judge Huff. She's running for third term of County Court 12. Everybody's there. And usually I get about between 10 and 15 elected officials and candidates out, right? And then after the service, the pastor will encourage everyone to come and talk to the candidates. They're getting to know these candidates. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell them, look, your vote is currency. And this is what I'm saying to the congregants. When someone asks for your vote, you have to ask, what are you getting in return for your currency, mm-hmm. right? And I'm very frank, because some of the pastors will let me speak as the person that's organizing this. And, they'll set up tables, and we can hand our push cards out and talk to the congregants. I said, this is your one chance. You want to talk to someone running for the state house? You want to talk to someone running for a judge or JP? This is your chance.
Wow. So this is a great, great, great initiative. And it gives people an opportunity that maybe you won't run into out in the community.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
An opportunity to hear what your platform is.
And the pastors have been wonderful, every last one of them. So appreciative, and I'm so appreciative. I mean, every last one has been just wonderful.
Wow, so you visited 11 churches so far, so you got 11 more?
So I've visited 10, and Sunday is going to be the 11, and then I have 11 more.
Wow.
So we're going all the way to December 7th, and that is the Sunday before the deadline to file. So everyone that's going to run and be on the ballot, and in November of 2026, election time, the midterm, they have to file their filing by November 8th is the deadline. So our last church visit is November 7th.
Wow.
I'm sorry, December 7th, December 7th.
Oh, wow. So y'all are going all the way up
All
to
the way up,
end.
and anybody
Wow.
can come get on this train and ride it with me.
Right.
But it's great exposure. It really is.
So I saw where you all you were doing outreach at a church, and I forget what church, but you were memorializing
Oh,
someone.
yes. So that day I was on double duty. So I was at First Grace Baptist Church, and the pastor was wonderful there. And then I had to leave early, and I told I did my thing where he introduced us, and I met the pastor and our representative. But there was a lot of candidates there, and I told him I have to leave early because I have to go to another church, because one of the attorneys that I've known for a long time, and she went to law school with me, she recently passed away of cancer. So her church home was having a memorial service, a Women's Day service for her, and I just needed to be there. And her name is Jocelyn Andrews, and a lot of people in the community know her, and I just felt I had to be there. I wanted to be there to help just honor and celebrate her. That was the service.
Wow. So Judge Huff, why is it important, for you to be out in the community and do outreach the way you do? I don't really see that many judges or people doing that, but you do it year round. You don't just do it during
I've been doing it
season.
nonstop for 7 years, because I'll explain. When people ask me this question, I'll say, I am a mother of 3. And Laura, I'll tell you the truth. I grew up very, very poor in North Carolina. We lived in a trailer. I had wanted to be attorney ever since I was 11 years old. Now, I don't even know where that desire come from. I never even met an attorney, let alone a judge. And here I am telling my mom at 11, I'm going to be a lawyer. Right. But I knew that lawyers help people, right? This is what I knew. I needed lawyers to help people. And I just never let go of that dream. And so my dad was military, so I was born in Texas. We were stationed in Fort Hood, Killeen, Texas, right?
Oh, okay.
And then my mom she's a Texan girl. So but me and my younger sister, the family moved to North Carolina, where my dad is from. But it was just so rural and so poor that it was just a very poor living, trying to make a living for my young parents at that time. They had these 2 girls, and anyway, my dad made the decision, we're going to go back to Texas. So we came back to Texas, to Austin, and immediately, it was in the 80s, they both got really good jobs. They got a home, and my sister and I graduated from high school in Austin. I went on to UT Austin undergrad, right?
Wow.
And what got me to San Antonio, Texas, was the law school. So that was a betterment I think my parents made. But that dream of, I want to help people. It's just my nature. I think my mom will tell you this. This girl has been wanting to help people forever, right? And I do. I always want to help people that what I've gone through. Like, I was the first person in my family to go to any kind of 4-year college, right?
Wow.
And it was just so lonely. It was just so, I felt the other. I didn't have a mentor to help me through this. Now I'm going through all this, and I look back and I say, man, if I can help some young lady not reinvent the wheel of what I went through. It was a very much of a struggle, because I didn't have others that went before me and my family to help me. Dude, I remember one time when I was in high school, and this lady she was a school counselor. And I was telling her I didn't know how to figure out all the financial paperwork and all that stuff, right? And so she was looking at my paperwork, and she said, wow, I've never seen this. She says that our family was so poor that their contribution would be 0. She kind of laughed about it, right? And then I was like, I felt so embarrassed and so ashamed. I felt humiliated. And do you think I ever went back to that school counselor? Nope.
Right.
That was enough humiliation, right? Of course I know we're poor. You don't have to laugh about it, or I've heard a little humor about it, right? So I'm like, I can figure this out by myself. But it's like, to prevent other people from going through that. And I just truly feel it is my duty, if I know it and if I can do it, to help others. And I truly do believe, Laura, you told me this one time, knowledge is not power, knowledge is freedom.
Right.
Laura said this to me. She doesn't even remember saying it to me.
And
I've been saying that so many years. That Laura, the first one that told me that knowledge is freedom. And Laura, I believe that to the depth of my being. Young mothers that are struggling, young fathers that are struggling, people in the community that are struggling, they don't have the resources, they don't have the knowledge. And the more knowledge you have, the more freedom you have to make choices for yourself, for your children's life. I just believe this. And if I have the knowledge and I know the resources in the judiciary, then I feel it's my duty to let the community know that these resources. People will say, I never even knew that existed. Like, example, I'm always talking about the specialty course, the treatment course, the problem-solving course, that who wouldn't want to get a dismissal of their case and an expungement for free. And people just don't know that it exists. Like, they'll say, my defense attorney never told me that I can get this case expunged by coming into your program, Judge Huff, right? How come we're not telling the community and the community is paying for it, because all these entities, all these courts are taxpayer-supported entities. You guys should be the one that know that these exist. You have a right to know that all these programs exist in the judiciary.
And a lot of people that know, they're in these special groups.
Yeah.
That pass on the information.
Exactly.
And then it makes it look, when they get off, or when they say, well, okay, they're going to go to 5 months of whatever program you have. And so we look at it, or other people look at it that are not knowledgeable of it, they look at it as unfair. They're like, why do they always get off? But they don't know that they can too. And so you brought that to the forefront. And so we really appreciate
educating the community that these programs exist, and especially because we have 2 veteran courts. We have a felony veteran court, and we have a misdemeanor. So many veterans and people in the service currently get arrested. Assault, they have PTSD, assaulting someone, substance abuse, alcoholism, and then they get arrested. And they don't know that if they go into one of these veterans courts, not only does the case get dismissed, it gets totally expunged from their record, saving their career.
Wow.
And in the state of Texas, I always tell these people, you want to know a secret? In the state of Texas, the only way that you can get a DWI expunged is if you go into the Veterans Court. I can't even expunge a DWI in my mental health court. And they carved that out.
And you have to be a veteran?
You have to be a veteran. They carved it out for the veterans to really save their careers in the service, that you can get that DWI expunged.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know that.
Wow, that's phenomenal. So you've done so many great things, since you've been in the 8 years you've been in, and before, because y'all had this triple threat campaign back in 2018, and so. I've just seen you out there ever since you've been in office and before.
But what was preparing me for being a leader on the bench is that when I was president of San Antonio Black Lawyers as a defense attorney, I was always involved.
Wow.
You think I'm doing this on the bench? I've always been like, so I'll tell you, when I was at UT Austin back in the 80s, 84 to 89, I was president of the Black Pre-Law Association, right? I'm always out here doing something, Laura. I'm enjoying it. So when I got to law school, I'm president of BALSA. That's the Black Law Students Association. Right?
Wow.
Then when I get to be a lawyer, I'm president twice of the San Antonio Black Lawyers Association. Like,
wow.
And it's like, I'm just a giver. I guess you could say I am a servant. I am a public servant to my heart. And it's just, I think I'm always going to be like this. And just being a judge has given me the greatest platform of my life to do what I like anyway. It was just always helping the community, always giving back to the community. And I love it. I mean, I do the same thing with my kids. I try to encourage them. You get joy, you get your self-worth by helping other people. And it's such a win, and it's such joy to help other people. And I wish more people understood that your purpose in life, you want to live this lonely life, and you never, ever want to help other people. What a lonely life, right?
Wow.
And not the joy just helping other people run this race called life with you. That's how I look at it.
Wow. So now I'm gonna give you another one. You're a visionary with passion. You see the needs way down the line, and you just do it. When you were talking about being from North Carolina and growing up in a trailer park, I envisioned this tough little girl that they say, look, Yolanda, down, and you would always try stuff. That's what I see.
I'm always trying to think. I'm always thinking of like. So I'm a doer. So as soon as I got on the bench, I looked around like, man, we have all these great programs. Why don't people know about them, and why aren't we united? So I went before Commissioner's Court and united all of the 15 treatment courts, the DWI court, the drug court, the juvenile court, the CPS, the mental health court, the domestic violence. We united, and now we are the Bexar County Specialty Courts Coalition. And then I said, now we have to, that we're a coalition, we need to go out into the community and start educating the community about these resources. And so I started having a series of seminars every other year on Zoom, easy for the public. And at each one of these seminars, 3 judges will present about their program. And then the last one is always in person in the jury room. And then I created that resource book. I hand them out everywhere. This is a resource book for you. It's free. You're already paid for it, taxpayer. Like, this is just educating the community, educating the community. And then the next big thing, I always really wanted the community to understand and know about the black judiciary, our history in Bexar County. Not many people knew. And so if no one else was going to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, who's going to do it?
Who's going to do it? Who's better? Not who, you, right? So then this year, on February 1, the first day of Black History Month, I held at the Waiting Museum, I call it Come Meet the Black Judges of Bexar County, a judicial meet and greet. And so, Laura, you were there.
Yeah, we
so
got a lot of footage.
many judges came back, man. Some flew in from out of town. And I remember talking to Linda Harris. She was a judge for a while. She said, I was thinking, how many people do you think are going to come? She said, everybody. She said, because nothing like this has ever happened in Bexar County before. And it was just a resounding success. The room was packed.
It was standing room.
Standing room. The judges all came back. And I just loved it that the judges, and I mean from the very first black judge that ever got elected in Bexar County all the way to the most recent judge, the young one, it was 30 judges in all, and it was including the Bexar County and the city of San Antonio judges. So I don't care if you were a judge or a precinct, a JP, all the way up to the Supreme Court, because we had the Supreme Court judge, Wallace Jefferson, first African American. We even have a federal judge, Jason Pulliam. We have a JAG that was on her. That's Tiny Bowman. She came, and they were all just. It was wonderful. It was. We have pictures of it, and the community was like, I never knew this. And I made a booklet about that, and I call it a keepsake booklet. So many people kept asking me about that booklet. I ordered 200 more, and I'll still be passing them out to people because it's our history. If we don't tell our own history, who's going to tell our history?
Absolutely.
If you don't tell your history, someone else gets to narrate your history.
From their perspective.
From their perspective,
And
exactly.
Sometimes it's not that great.
Yeah, it was a wonderful experience.
But you know, y'all, everybody was so proud. Those judges were so proud because nobody has ever
Done
really
and acknowledged
them.
Acknowledged them. So proud. I mean, Linda Penn, she flew in from Arizona. She just kept
Because
saying.
I thought about her. I was saying, I wonder if Linda's going to be here.
Did you talk to her?
Yeah,
And
her and her husband.
She was Tony. She says, Yolanda, I cannot thank you. She said, I prayed for something like this. And then it was so wonderful because she brought about 30 people. She says, my grandkids, my children, and they were all there to honor her, right? Wasn't that wonderful? And I remember it was one friend, Edith Brown, is a full-time magistrate, right? And I'm going to tell you, Edith was one of the few, when Stephanie Boyd, one of the first black district court judges, we had never ever in the history of Bexar County had black magistrate judges. Never. And these are the judges that when you get arrested and they arrest you and take you before the judge, you get read your rights and get your bond set, right? That's a magistrate judge for Bexar County. We'd never had an African American black ever. As Stephanie said, it's time to diversify that. So that year we got 3. We got David Woodard, Edith Brown, and I think the last one was Cornelius Cox, right? So those are 3 that are on there. So Edith is full-time and the other ones are part-time. And Edith was at the judicial meeting, and she invited her mom and her husband, and she says to me, my sister's going to be so mad because I just didn't think it was going to be all of this. I don't know what people are thinking. People just kept saying, I didn't think it was going to be. But if you have something to witty, how do you think it's going to be, right? And she says, I got up, when her name was called to go get her award, she says, I got up and I walked forward, and I glanced back, and I looked back at my husband. He had tears running down his eye. And she says, what? He says, I'm just so proud of you. And it was just touched my heart so much that she said, Yolanda, that was wonderful. I invited my husband and my mom, but if I had known it was going to be such a big deal, I would have invited my sister to her. My sister's going to be mad at me because I didn't invite her to this.
Right.
But they just think, like, I didn't know that it was going to be all, but I did tell everyone, wear your robes. The robes signify something. Like, because there was a discussion in-house, should we wear absolutely. That looked beautiful, all those judges walking in their robes, right? That was the beautiful part. That signified we were wearing our uniform as black judges in Bexar County and San Antonio.
Wow. So you tuned into the coffee break on TAN TV, the African American Network. I'm here with Judge Yolanda Huff, and, you know, she's telling her story. She's done a lot for the San Antonio Bexar County community in a very short period of time. And now she's running for re-election. The primaries were in March,
Yes.
right? And so I understand that you have an opponent.
Yep, in the Democrat
Okay,
primary.
Right. So what sets you apart from your opponent?
What sets me apart is that I've been a lawyer now for 29 years. I was a criminal defense attorney for 22 years, and now I'm going into my 8th year as judge. And all of these things that I have my desire to educate the community. I know I am experienced. I know I'm the most qualified, and I know that she doesn't have these qualifications. I don't know what her passion is, other than she just wants to be judge, right? That all these things, I just want to keep working and doing the things that I'm doing, educating the community about the judiciary, about the resources in the judiciary. I think that's the main thing that sets me apart from others, that I am so willing to go into the community to keep educating people about these programs. And the more I do it, the more people see that I do it, the more people know that I want to do it, the more invitations I get over and over. And I think that's the main thing that sets me apart, is my desire to help the community, my passion to help the community, because I absolutely love it. My children will tell you, I love what I'm doing. I call it, Laura, my second chapter, right? My last child is at Texas Tech, so I don't have to worry about little kids anymore. So this second chapter, I'm not a defense attorney, I'm a judge now. I'm just loving what I do for the community.
Wow. Well, the thing that I see, and I don't know who your opponent is, but what separates you from her or anybody else on the bench is that you connect with the community. The community knows who you are, and the community will go out of their way to vote for you because they know.
They do. I do. I know I have a lot of support. My nickname, some people say on social media, Judge Huff is the people's judge.
Right.
Because I'm always in the community, right? And I was like, I'll take that. I like that.
So what is your judging style? Some people you might see them in the community, and then you might see them in your courtroom.
Yeah.
And they might think that they have an edge over, the decision because they know you. But
I'll tell you this: when I first got on the bench, and so how the court is set up, the judges' bench is at the back. And when you walk in, you can walk down the aisle, and I can see everyone that walks straight into my court. And I remember one time it was a father, he had like a son, it looked like a young man, maybe 18, 20. And they walked in, and the expression on their faces when they saw me, right, I could tell that they were so pleasantly surprised to see me. And I don't think that they thought they were getting anything special, but I think they just thought that, oh, a black judge, a woman, like it was a happy surprise for them. And I think that when they see me, it's like it represents something, because it's like we have a shared community, a shared history, and they like that young man that walked in there, he reminds me of my own young son, like that age, right? I don't think he's a threat. I don't think he's a common criminal. I just think maybe he's a young man that made a mistake or whatever, and he's here with his dad to solve the problem. And it is absolutely necessary to have diversity on the bench. And the bench shouldn't be all one race of any race, like all white men or all white women or all black people. It should be a diverse bench because the community is diverse. Absolutely, right? And I'm here for it. When I tell you that some people think that young black boys are criminals and this is all they're born to do, no. I have 2 sons myself, and I don't see that. I just see a young boy that made a mistake, and now he's in court, and his father's helped him there to navigate how to resolve this matter. This is what I see when I see a young boy. Reminds me of my own son.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you take a grassroots approach, and so when somebody's taking a grassroots approach, it makes me feel like we have a sense of community and a sense of connection, and that we know you.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like we're not intimidated to go into the courtroom if we're going to go into Judge Huff's court, because she's been around us and she understands the intricacies of our community.
Exactly.
And so
Because I preside over I call it, it's the mental health court, but it's really a recovery program, a 12-month recovery program. I know this population of people. I know what they can't get anything over on me. You can't lie to me. Look, I preside over a recovery program. You can't lie to me. I'm not drinking. Don't try it. I mean, and the people say Judge Huff is firm, but she is loving, because I'll tell them, you want these shenanigans to stop. You want the chaos to stop. But you have to put some skin in the game, right? And I'm not letting them get away with any lies, any excuses and everything. You're going to have to put some skin in the game to get this dismissal, to get this expungement, in this case expunged from your record. No one is giving you anything free. If you want all the chaos to stop, you want your life to be peaceful, you want the substance abuse to stop, then you are going to have to work for that. No one can do this for you. And I'll try to be as blunt and direct with them as I possibly can, because they've been living these chaotic lives. They're manipulative, and they think they're going to come and try to manipulate me. That is not going to happen. But I do want them so badly to be successful, because my success rate in the mental health court is 97%.
Wow.
I only have a 3% recidivism rate. If you successfully complete this program, we will not see you again in the judiciary arrested again. And we do measure that. We keep track of them. Do we see them arrested the first year, the third year, the fifth year? We consider that a success, and it's how we measure our success rate. Because if they're not going to one of these treatment courses, and they're just going to regular probation, it's very, very high percentage that they'll cycle back again they'll get arrested again, because they're still living that chaotic life. No one has dealt with that for them.
And I think they want that. I
Oh,
think
yeah,
that
I
everybody
know.
wants to be successful.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to fit into the community.
They do. Well, you know what the question I'll ask them when they come before me, I'll say to them, I'll look them right in the eye and I'll say, do you want the chaos to stop? And they know exactly what I'm talking about. Yes, Judge. I was just saying it to a young lady today. She just joined the mental health question. Do you want the chaos to stop? And she was like, yes, ma'am. And I said, do you deserve peace in your life? I do. You certainly do. You are a child of God, and you were not put on this earth for all the shenanigans and chaos that you're living now. And she was just weeping by the time I said, she's just going to start this 12-month program. I said, you're going to do wonderful, and you're going to get that peace that you want. Nobody wants to be on drugs and not dealing with their mental health, right? It's a chaotic, awful life to live. And you're getting arrested, and you're in the judiciary, and you're dealing with mental health. It's just not something that anyone wants or should be dealing with. They need help from us, the resources in the judiciary. They need help for that. They don't need prison time. They don't need to go to jail. I believe in restorative justice. I believe in giving people a second chance, but they got to work for that second chance. Nobody's going to baby you, give you this. You're going to have to earn this for yourself. And you know what I say to them? When you earn it for yourself, you're way more proud of yourself than if you thought you manipulated your way to get this. Like, you're going to be so proud of yourself at the end that you went through this very hard program and you did it. You graduate now, because we actually have a whole graduation ceremony, and they're so proud, and their families are there. And I hold the graduation ceremonies twice a year at the neighborhood place. It's a free place in the community, and I usually get about 200 people at my graduation ceremony. The families, the friends, people in the community. I tell the people that are listening here today, go to one of these graduation ceremonies for one of these special courts. It will be the most inspiring thing you're going to see in the judiciary. Like, people that are falling down on life, they're now on that right path. I've had a woman, she told me she stopped drinking and she bought her first house. Right. Our mothers, their kids were in CPS. They go through the program. They got their kids back, and we found housing for them and their kid. A young mother. Oh, Lord, the program is 2 years. It took this young mother, she was 18. It took her almost 3 years to finish that program. We could keep extending, but she did it. She did it, and she had both of her kids back with her, and now she's 20. And what it was like, everybody in her family was like on drugs and in prison. She didn't know how to live any other way. That's all she knew, right? But by the time she had finished that program, she was in it to win it, man. I was so proud of her. Well, she never gave up on herself. I got so frustrated with that girl so many times, but I never gave up on her. But in the end, she graduated. She actually gave an interview to the Univision when they came to, the graduation ceremony draws a lot of media. And I was just so proud of her that she could now be the mother. Like, we sent her to parenting classes, life skill classes, all kind of counseling, substance abuse. Well, we stuffed them with so much knowledge and tools that, and I'll tell them, when you're done with this program, you're never going to come back into the judiciary. You're going to have all the tools that you need to succeed. Because it really is a bitter pill for an 18-year-old boy to be told, I know you're bipolar and you're going to have to take pills the rest of your life. They're not trying to hear that.
Right.
No, they don't want to hear that. And I'll say, but it's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just another body part. If you had diabetes, you would take medication. If you had high blood pressure, you would have so what? You have bipolar, you have to take medication to regulate that. So what? It's just another body part, right? And I'll say, if you broke your arm, would you be a tough man? Wouldn't you go to the doctor to get that fixed? You would not be.
So
I'm
it's
so
gonna
tough.
grow back together.
Yeah, your arm just lingering. No, you would go to the doctor. It's just to say, if you're bipolar, it's just something. Is your brain, your DNA, or however, it just needs help, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Nothing at all. A little, you go to counseling, you get your medication, you get your life back on track, just like any other thing that would happen to your body.
Right, and who knows? You might overcome it. Who knows?
You would. So people have gone into remission before lots of times. You're getting so good, you know how to. Because once you start learning about, I'm bipolar. Let me learn about this bipolar. What causes me to be bipolar? You learn when you're going to have highs and when you're going to have lows. How to regulate yourself. And I'll often tell the team. I have a whole team that, look, people in crisis of mental health get shot and killed by the police. We have to teach them how to regulate themselves, how to bring that emotion down. They're acting, wild out there. The cops come and the cops are scared. They just shoot and kill them.
Right.
And really, they're just having a mental health episode. But we have to teach. If the cops are not going to listen to us, we have to teach. The cops need to know too, and we have to teach that individual. You have to know how to calm yourself down, regulate your emotions, right? And that's what they're learning, the tools in the mental health court.
Wow. So you are doing a fabulous job, a phenomenal job, and we support you here at TAN TV. We think it's important, that someone like you is in office, not just African American and not just a woman, but somebody that really cares about the community and, contributes and participates in the community. That's the main thing.
And I'm doing it for other cities, other counties. You would not believe that my mental health court has reached a level that people from Dallas, people from Houston, Hayes County, Atascosa County, Comal County, just how we heard that you're the person to call about, can we come shadow your program? Wow. And I'll say, don't reinvent the wheel. I'll send you my tablet for everything. I'll send you, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. And people from Travis County, the whole team has come down, their mental health court. And then one said to me, man, I don't think our judge does what you do, Judge Huff, because you just need to come and shadow the program. And anyone is welcome to do that because, again, courts are open to the public. You can come in there and watch a mental health court session go on, a docket, and see, oh, this is what my money is paying for. I want people to come. I invite people all the time. And people take me up on that all the time. And they'll go away, wow, I just did not know all of this was going on in the judiciary. And I will say to other cities, I've had people as far away as another state. They got on the Zoom and they listened to me what I was doing, right? Because I have 3 dockets of mental health on Monday, Thursday, and Friday. And anytime, and the participants in person, but anybody that wants to Zoom in or just come and sit and observe, they are welcome to do it because courts are always open to the public. So my reach has gone far. I won the specialty court judge of the state of Texas in 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, so they'll give an award to, and these treatment courts are in every city, Austin, Houston, they're everywhere. Mental health courts, drug courts, they're all over the nation. So the first one was invented in 1989 in Florida. A law professor thought about how we treat people that have unique issues in the judiciary, like mental health, drugs, stuff like that. Sending them to prison is not good because they're just going to come out of prison still with the heroin addict. How do we go forward? Or worse, right? So he thought of this way of truly helping these individuals. And since that professor in 1989, there's 15 of these treatment courts in Bexar County. There's over 300 in the state of Texas. There's over 4,000 across not only America, Canada, Mexico, other countries. And it's just a unique, progressive, therapeutic way of treating individuals that are in the judiciary, ensuring that they'll never come back in the judiciary again.
Wow. So you heard it on TAN TV from Judge Huff. She's doing a phenomenal job as judge and doing really God's work, really.
The pastor that gave me the leadership award a couple of weeks ago, he says, this is a ministry, right? He says, you're doing a ministry because I've actually invited a young black therapist, which I love. I invited him to be a keynote speaker at one of the graduation ceremonies, and the pastor of Cleft of the Rock Church came also, and he gave the invocation. And so, a couple of years later, he was giving me this award for being just a great leader in the church, and he's the one that said, "What you're doing is a ministry, Judge Huff." I was like, "Yeah, I like that."
So we're going to continue to talk to you, but before we go, I'd like for you to just give a brief word on why people should come out and vote for you.
Okay, all right. So, I'm up for my third term as judge of County Court 12 in the mental health court. I think I'm doing an excellent job. I love what I'm doing. I have the passion to do it. I know I'm the most qualified person for this job. It's just not like I want the power and authority to be in judge. I truly do care about the people that I'm presiding over. I care about the community. That's why I'm always in the community. If anybody wants me to do anything in the community, I mean, from speaking on a podcast like this, from going to the elementary school, I will not dare say no, because who am I to say no when I'm during election time, I'm asking you guys to vote for me, and then when the community needs me, then I'll say no. I will never dare say no. And it's not just even saying no or thinking about it. I actually just love doing it. It's not a hard core thing for me to do. I really love being in the community. I love going to the elementary schools, the high schools, the colleges, all over, the churches, just educating and giving people freedom.
Right.
And so that's the kind of judge I am. I'm a judge that believes in getting out of the courtroom, going into the public. And I'm asking for your vote out there, because I know I'm doing an excellent job, and I just want to keep doing that for the community of Bexar County.
Well, the primaries are coming up in March of 2026, and so let's all rally behind Judge Huff. I know I am. And I would like to say that we want to invite you back.
Yes.
Probably closer to the
Primary,
primaries,
okay.
so that we can remind people of what Judge Huff is doing and the great works that she's providing for not only the courts, but for Bexar County at large. So you've been tuned into The Coffee Break on TAN TV, the African American Network, where we have a local feel with a global reach. And thank you so much, Judge Huff, for coming out
Thank you.
and hanging
for
out
having me. I
for a little bit.
appreciate it. I really do. Thank
All right,
you.
thanks.